So this was a forum that got created actually by Joe. Joe decided he wanted to have a forum, and he introduced this idea to several of his friends and colleagues out there in the world. And so you two said yes. So I'd like to hear from each of you about what had you want to devote both your time and money to being in a forum with 10 other leaders for a year.
Sure. So I've been looking for a coach for some time. I felt I could see that I was holding myself back. I had tried a lot of methods on my own to work through that pattern. I tried a lot of kind of it level stuff of like learning new tactics and strategies and productivity methods, and tried to, work harder to get out of my own way, kind of push myself. And I really felt like I'm very plateaued. I'm plateaued. And so I interviewed a few coaches that came through recommendations of people I really, really trust, who also are, one of them is in our group, or was in our group. And Diana was recommended, and then I interviewed Diana to be a solo coach, and I really liked her, and her method sounded radical, and I liked that. And then I also thought, I don't want to pay for this right now. And then I just said, if it's right, I was like, I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to do it. I talked to my friend, and he's like, well, what would it mean for you financially? I'm like, well, I'm just not feeling great about it. Now that I look back, I realize I didn't have a whole body yes to it. And I'm really grateful that he kind of coached me into like stepping out of scarcity on it and being like, there's going to be another chance to work with her. I'm sure. Don't put yourself in an uncomfortable position. And then sure enough, this forum opened up, and I got invited to join by the same person, and I decided to do it. And when I look back on that time now, the way that I see it is so different, and it's totally informed by everything I learned from Diana and your book and CLG and the group. And I realized like, it's that gripping energy of like, I need to get it now, otherwise it's going to go away. That was what was making anything be financially difficult or a hard decision. And like, I don't experience hard decisions anymore. And abundance. Look at my abundance. Easy.
Thanks, How about for you, Joe or Prema? Why being busy leaders? Why would you invest in this?
It's an easy answer for me. It's one word. It was pure greed. And it was greed. I had heard about your work, Diana, from people that I admire and respect, and they spoke the world. So I wanted to have a format to work with you, and I wanted a format to invite these amazing leaders that I consider friends and take my relationship deeper with them. It was not, in my case, I did not feel blocked in my life of something. It was, I wanted more. I want to go deeper with these people and further with myself. And it was a wonderful decision.
I think for me, I showed up at a kind of an introductory session that Joe organized. And I went because Joe's my friend, and some of my other friends were going, and it's probably a degree, there was curiosity, there's probably some FOMO of like, oh, could this be? And then Diana, I read your book, and it was really powerful. It spoke to me in some really important ways, particularly at that time, kind of not sure if I wanted to make, kind of another big commitment in my life. As much as I value growth, it's, what is that kind of production versus production capacity? There's always that kind of trade-off that everyone's balancing. And I think after reading the book and kind of getting a sense of what it means to practice conscious leadership and kind of what might that look like in my life, and how at the end of it, how I could look back. And I just kind of had this sense that I'd be just really grateful that I said yes to this particular methodology. And so it was a little bit of a leap based off of those two data points. I'm really glad I did.